Hello, my name is Wayne Ergel. Welcome to this video, AI SEO Keyword Research Redo. Now with Airtable, Google Sheets, n8n, and DataForSEO. This is actually a redo of my previous video titled Ditch Expensive SEO Tools, Automate AI SEO Keyword Research with n8n and DataForSEO. So, why am I redoing it? For those of you that don't know, if you're new to this, bear with me. I did a series of content creation videos. They started with a keyword research video, keyword clustering, where I take these keywords and cluster them into topics and content ideation, and then a smart AI blog writing system. In these first two, keyword research and keyword clustering, I used Google Sheets for data storage. But when I did the video on the smart AI blog writing system, I changed to Airtable, and I didn't tell anyone how I did that part. So that's why I'm doing this. Many people have asked me to do an Airtable version, and that's what I'm doing here. I will also be doing an Airtable version of the keyword clustering and categorization. So what am I going to do in this video? So first of all, use the chapter markers to go to relevant sections. If you don't want to hear any of this stuff up here, you can go straight to the section on how to set up Airtable and create the workflow in n8n. But what the order of the video is going to be a recap of the original video. I'll go over different research tools and compare that to DataForSEO and what DataForSEO is, how to set up the authorization for DataForSEO in n8n. That has been a problem for people. I want to show you how to do that, give you a pretty detailed step-by-step for that, and then I'll go into the workflow, what it does, what kind of data are you getting from DataForSEO, and then how to set up the table, Airtable, and how to set up n8n workflow. Again, everything's going to have bookmarks, chapter markers, whatever you want to call them. You can go to the relevant sections and just listen to the part or use the part that you would like. So I'm going to get this out of the way, but a little quick commercial. If you like this video, if it gives you some value, please consider liking, subscribing, and commenting. I also want to announce, the first time I'm mentioning this, a new community that I am starting with Alex Kim. It's called WriteOnTarget AI. And what it is a community for content creators leveraging AI and automation. Alex is an n8n ambassador. There are not many of those, and he's part of their Experts Partner Program. And what does that mean to you? It means he knows n8n inside and out. So what him and I are doing is partnering together to educate and guide people through the ever-changing landscape of AI and automation for content generation. As you well know, new models every day, new tools every day. We're going to be talking about those in our community. So our vision is for each member to learn, collaborate, create, and earn. And we really mean this. We've had one call already and learned a lot, collaborated, saw areas for saw opportunities for product creation, workflow creation. So I really believe it'll be a great place to meet similar-minded people, collaborate with them, and make money from automation. But I am really excited about this. I know it's going to be a great place to do all of this. Learn, collaborate, create, and earn stuff. I hope you'll consider joining us. I'll have a link in this description and a pinned comment for a 3-day trial and 30% off for your first year. Final part of the commercial. If you're too busy to do all of this stuff, or maybe you're not quite there yet in your technical abilities, feel free to book a 30-minute discovery call. I'll be glad to talk to you and see how we might be able to work together. There will be a link in the description and in the pinned comments. Okay, so on we go. Introduction. This is a recap basically of the previous video, but as I think we all know, the world of search is changing. Google has their AI generated results Perplexity and OpenAI offer their AI-driven search results. I find myself right now, I don't use Google anymore to search. I use Perplexity if I want to know something. If I actually want to know something. If I want to know what movie's playing, I'll do a search on Google for a movie theater or something like that. But if I want to know how to use n8n to create an automation or something like that, I use Perplexity. A lot of people are using OpenAI for that. Despite all the changes, though, keyword research remains essential for content development. People do search, whether they're searching in Google or one of these other AI-driven alternatives. They type words into a box somewhere and they want to find out about that. So it's still essential. However, keyword research has traditionally been costly and time-consuming. Tools like SEMRUSH and ahrefs are robust, but they're expensive for small businesses, entrepreneurs, bloggers, YouTubers, any smaller content creator. SEMRUSH and ahrefs are just expensive, and I'll show you that in just a moment. So what this video is all about is creating fast, efficient keyword research system for a fraction of the price. So let's look at them. The 800-pound gorillas. SEMRUSH, their least expensive plan is $140 a month. ahrefs is $129, 12 months. Now I never did the math here. $1,700 for SEMRUSH, $1,500 for ahrefs a year. That's a lot of money. And I know for me, I've had subscriptions in the past, and I wouldn't even use the platform for a month or two, and I would cancel it and then re-establish the subscription when I needed to research 2 keywords. Not very cost efficient or efficient in general. They do offer an annual discount, which brings the price down by 17%, both of them same percentage. So you're looking at an effective monthly rate of $116 and $108. So to me, very expensive. Just put these in. These are screenshots from their pricing pages, and again you can see, and these numbers are based on their least expensive plan up here. And you can see here, this is ahrefs and this is SEMRUSH, and then they both go to $249. Now I'm not saying these aren't great tools. They are, clearly. They've been around a long time. They lead the market. They are the 800-pound gorillas. But are they the right tool for you? Are they the right tool for the entrepreneur and the small business and the blogger and YouTubers and other smaller content creators? Certainly they have plenty of other features. Competitive analysis, backlink analysis, all of that stuff. But they are expensive if you're in this group of content creators. There's another way, and that's DataForSEO. So what is DataForSEO? DataForSEO is designed for digital marketers, SEO professionals, so if you wanted to do agency stuff, software developers, and anyone needing reliable, scalable data to optimize marketing strategies. It serves everyone. The key thing is it offers a wide range of APIs that allow you to connect to it and get data back. So if you want to get keyword data, which is what we're going to be talking about, you want to get backlinks on page, who is, merchant, content, YouTube, all of this stuff, you have an API that you can connect to it from n8n or any other platform for that matter, and pull that data back in and put it somewhere where you can manage it and analyze it. The keyword research tools provides insights into keywords driving traffic. You get search volume, keyword difficulty, so all the metrics that you would get from SEMRUSH or ahrefs. It does offer competitive analysis that I mentioned, real-time updates. The benefits are scalability. It allows businesses to grow your SEO efforts. Cost efficiency. It's a pay-as-you-go model, which I will show you here in a moment. Integration seamlessly integrates with platforms like Make, Zapier, Google Sheets, and strangely enough, I did not put n8n in there. Sorry about that. But clearly it does, because that's what I'm about to show you. So let's just take a quick look at their web page. This is the DataForSEO website. I'm not going to go through it too much, but I will tell you this: I've had a great experience with them. Customer support has been there. You end up getting, once you sign up, you get a person that works with you. They have a name for it, I don't remember, and she's very responsive. I've been in contact with the CEO, so great customer service. And you can see their vision is to be a leader in data-driven marketing by leveraging data to equip businesses with the tools they need to create efficient and effective SEO strategies. I'll let you read all the rest of that stuff. But that's what they're there for, and that's what I believe they are really doing. So you can look at that website on your own. Let's look at what it would cost to use it. Sign up. When you sign up, you get $1. And that may not sound like much, but and when I say that, you get $1 in credits towards using the API endpoints. So you get $1. So the approximate cost per run of my workflow, which brings back in the neighborhood of 300 to 500 keywords that you could use to write content about, is between 3 and 5 cents. So not a lot of money. So just with their $1 sign up, if you use 5 cents per run, you're looking at being able to do research for 20 keywords. If you're looking at 3 cents per run, it's 33 keywords you could research. Now keep in mind, again, that's putting one keyword into it and getting 300 to 500 keywords back out. So related keywords, keyword suggestions, you'll see all this in the workflow. So you're getting tons and tons of keywords to write about or to create content about. Now, what happens when you run out of your $1? You have to top up your account, and the minimum amount you can top up is $50. So if you take that 50 and use a cost per run of 5 cents, and again, this is my workflow, you might find different results, you'd be able to research 1,000 keywords, and if you use 3 cents, it's 1,667. I've done the math once, and literally it was 3 cents for the run. I put 5 in there just to give a little range. So you're in the neighborhood of 1,000 to maybe even 2,000 keywords you could do research for. And for me, that's going to take me a long time to take that down to 0. So I think it's really, really cost effective. Okay, so that's a quick overview of DataForSEO and why it's a great platform for using and comparing it to SEMRUSH and ahrefs. So now I'm going to look into or show you how to set up your authentication or your authorization in n8n. It's a little bit confusing. It was to me, I'll say. And it has been with a fair amount of people. And I'm just going to cover it here quickly. Again, you can skip over this part if you don't need it. First thing, set up a DataForSEO account. You do the same stuff as you do anywhere. You create a user ID, which will be your email, and a password, and you get that $1 of credit. Then go to the API access from the dashboard. So this is what that looks like. Screenshot. Here is what it looks like live. And you can see here, this is your API login. This is the email you signed up with. It's no big mystery, but that's what that is. And then there's this API password, and they have a little different approach. The way you get it is to click send by email, and you will get the API password sent to your account email. Okay, really important to get that. Then once you get it, you're going to go to, let's pull this over, a site like this, base64, what is it? base64encode.org. I did a search for base64encode. That's the site that came up. Presumably there are other sites, but you can go to this one, and this is really important to do it exactly this way. You paste in your data for SEO login. So you paste in your email exactly the way it was in your API access dashboard page. You type one space and then you type in, or then you paste in your API password. So remember I said you click send the password to you, get it, paste it in here. So you got your user information, which is your email, one space, then the password. Okay, then press the encode button, which is right there, and it'll give you a series of letters and numbers. Looks like an API key, but it's a base 64 encoded version of your user ID or your user login and your password. Take that and copy it somewhere where you won't lose it, or at least you'll have access to it for the next part of this. Okay, so I'm going to show you what you do with it after that. This is an n8n. As you can see, doesn't really do anything workflow, but I'm just showing you this to show what you do with that information. So get an HTTP request. I went ahead and set up a call to n8n. This is calling for keyword suggestions. I'm going to get to all of this in a minute, but I had to have something there. What you're going to do is select from the options, select generic credential type. Okay. Then from the generic auth type, select header auth. Then you would select create new credential. And when you do that, see if I can get that up. Okay. When you do that, it will automatically give it a name. It'll be something like header auth 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever it is. Change it so you know what you did. I've just changed this to DataForSEO test. So change yours. Type in basic. Just type that word in right here. BASIC space, and then paste in your base 64 encoded API key. Not sure what even to call it, but the thing you got out of the base 64 encode website. So basic space and then that information, and then you should be good. Just close up. We'll test this step, and you'll see that it was able to connect to DataForSEO, and it gave us a bunch of keyword suggestions for the keyword AI automation. And I'm going to get to all this stuff in a minute, but that's the way you set up your authentication or your authorization, I guess is probably the right way to say it. And I believe if you'll just follow those steps, it'll work for you fine. It should work for you, because that's what I just did today before I created this video, so that I can make sure I give you all the steps without missing any. Okay, so that should give you authorization, because none of this is going to work unless you have that. So now, okay, so now we're going to go jump into the workflow, and here it is. Okay, so what you'll see here is this is the n8n workflow. I'm just going to go through it, and then we'll go back around and talk about how to set it all up. So let me make this bigger. So it all starts right here. There's an Airtable webhook. If you're familiar with the Google Sheets version, you know that was just a manual click. This is waiting on a webhook from Airtable. I'll show you how to set that up. So what we're doing, waiting on the webhook. When it's triggered, here we will have already set some Airtable fields, which I'll get to in a second. And then this first module, the first node, is getting the primary keyword from Airtable that you want to do keyword research on. And note that I called this main keyword in the Google research, or in the Google Sheets version. I've changed to primary keyword because that's what I did in the AI Smart Blogger version. Okay, so then what happens? We're going to send the request to data for SEO, and we're going to get the related keywords. So it's going to pull all that data using that API endpoint, and it's going to put them in the master all keywords variation table. Then it's going to run this part where it gets keyword suggestions from data for SEO and creates the Airtable record. So same flow each time, requesting an API endpoint, whether in this case again related keywords. Here's keyword suggestions. Next one is keyword ideas. So these are just all different things that data for SEO offers, not unlike SEMRUSH would, in that you could get these type of keywords based on your main research keyword. So each time we're calling the API, splitting out stuff so that we can format the data to put it into Airtable. Next thing, so getting autocomplete, so you know when you type in Google, you start typing a search term and it gives you some terms that other people are looking for. That's autocomplete. Data for SEO provides that, so we're going to get that same information, put it in the Airtable, put it in the master all keywords variation table. Same thing for SERP results, and people also ask, when I say same thing, making the API request. One thing to note here is I did pull the, I don't know, top 25, I guess it was, search results and put them in Airtable. Don't actually use them anywhere else, but you could if you want to be able to do some analysis or research based on those SERP results. They're there for you. You could delete this part of the workflow. It won't have any impact on this one or the auto writer or the clustering and categorization. So up to you. I'm keeping it. I figure one day I'll probably use it, but for now there's not any being used there. Let's see. Then I'm filtering out the people also ask. So, these are the questions, so, people also ask part of the Google search results that you see. Setting those fields and putting them in the master all keywords variations table. Finally, getting subtopics from data for SEO. This is an algorithm that data for SEO has where you give it a keyword and it generates subtopics from that keyword, and they're semantically related subtopics, so not specific to keyword research, but more in trying to determine user search intent and provide semantic subtopics for content creation to answer that search intent. And I'm going to be exploring this some more because I think there's probably a lot there to use that I'm not using yet. But just like everything else, it gets put into the master all keyword variations table. So let me show you the table itself, and then we're going to come back and run the workflow, and then we're going to go through how to set it up. Okay, so this is what you will get when you download the workflow. In there will be a link to copy this base. Please don't ask for access to it. I've had a lot of people asking for access, and it's actually putting you into my own personal Airtable workspace, and that's just not something I want to do. So please just make sure you copy it, and I will show you that when I'm showing how to set this up. But this is also the same base that I'll be using for the auto writer, so you'll see some tables here that are not actually used in this part of the workflow of just doing keyword research. What the tables that are used are primary keywords. This should look familiar. Let's see. The tables that are used are primary keywords, and this is going to trigger our research, and I'll get back to that in a moment. The master all keywords variations, you would have seen this table in Google Sheets, so this is where all the data gets pulled and put into this sheet. SERP results, I mentioned this is where those search results get put. Again, not really doing anything with them. What you will see that is missing are the mini tables. The tables that are missing were the individual tables I had included for related keywords, keyword ideas, keyword suggestions. So I had a table for each thing that we did a search for, and I was putting them there and then rewriting them to the master table. I felt like that was redundant and there was no use in doing that, so I pulled those out of here. So this is what the table looks like. And what I'm going to do now is run the workflow. So it's still set up as a test. I'm going to click test. It's now going to be waiting for my trigger. So the way it's triggered is in the primary keywords. When this field is changed to get keyword research. So you saw it was set to get keyword research. I changed it to waiting, and now I'm about to change it back to get keyword research. That's going to trigger the workflow in n8n. So here we go. And you can see now that it's executing. It just went through the very first part, and I should blow this up so you can see it. Sorry. So it went through the very first part where it went and got the related keywords. You can see one item was requested, 52 came back. Now it's adding all of those keywords to the master all keywords variations table. It's going to continue running where it got 100 keyword suggestions. Now it's writing all of those to the master all keywords variations table. Once it completes that, it's going to get the keyword ideas from DataForSEO and create the Airtable records. It should say records, I guess. So let's just jump over here while we're watching this, and if I go to my master keyword all variations, you'll see here that it's already done all the keyword related keywords. And right now it's adding all the suggestions, and you can see live that it's doing that. And we're pulling in monthly search volume, the intent, the difficulty, competition, and the CPC. So let's go back and see where we are. Now it has pulled the keyword ideas. It got another 100 of those and is sending those to the master keyword table. So the workflow is basically the same as the Google Sheets was, in that it goes and requests each one of these endpoints, pulls the data from DataForSEO, and then puts it into, in this case, Airtable, whereas with the other workflow, it put it into Google Sheets. So we're just going to let this keep running. It won't take much longer. Okay, now it's getting the autocomplete from DataForSEO. Only 10 items to write to the master all keywords variations table. Now it's getting the search results. Just scrolling up. I may have that set. I don't think I have it hard coded to 25 anymore. It also pulled the people also asked, put those in the master table, got the subtopics that I talked about. And then this is another thing that is not in the Google version. It goes back to Airtable and changes the status keyword research complete. So that previously said get keyword research, n8n automatically, or in the workflow it automatically changed it to say the research is complete. So if you had 100 of these primary keywords in this table, you would know which ones that you've done the research for. Okay, so now I'm going to jump into how to set all of this up. Let me just get this where you can see it, and we will jump into that. Okay, so this is the setup part. I just went through how it works and did a demo of it running through, but this is what you need to do to get it set up. So the very first thing is copy this Airtable base. Click on it. It's going to open up. You'll see it looks just like the one that I just showed you. Click right here and say copy. And this is where I think if you started typing in this or something, it would send me a request to allow you access to the base, and I can't give that, so please remember to just copy the base. Okay, so that is that part. Then you want to set your Airtable Base ID, and when I say that, we're going to set it right here. And here's how you get the Airtable Base ID. This is my Airtable base, and it's right here. It's the part that says starts with app, have some letters and numbers, and then a /. But you want to go the base that you just created by copying mine. Get this Airtable base, come back into Airtable, go into set Airtable fields, and paste it right there. So that is crucially important because I use this throughout the workflow. So make sure you go and copy that base. Again, it's here right after airtable.com, app, bunch of letters. Copy everything in between the two /. Come back into this set Airtable fields node and paste it in. So what's happening again is that this is an Airtable webhook, and it's going to be waiting for that trigger. And let's see, how do we get to that? Set up the automation. So let's go look at the automation. This is the Airtable automation, not n8n. We're going to set up the Airtable automation to trigger the workflow. So the way you do that, and I'm really not, so you need to be in your own Airtable base, and we're going to set the automation trigger up in it, and I will show you it in mine. I am not 100% sure what happens if you copy my base. Does it copy the automations? I think it does, but if it doesn't, and even if it does, you probably need to know this. So we're going to go from your base, the one you just made, click on automations, and you'll see a couple of different automations. So you just need this one, start keyword research automation. These others are going to be used later on in the other workflows, but right now we're just worried about keyword research. So you want to set up a trigger, and that trigger is important when a record matches conditions. So in your primary keywords table, you want to set the trigger such that when it's equal to keyword research. So going back to, sorry, in this thing you have to bounce around a bit. This is this trigger. So there's a field called trigger in the primary keywords table, and there are a number of different, this is a single select Airtable field. There are a number of different statuses it could have, but what we're looking for is when this is keyword research. So back to the automation, and that's what you can see is that in this table, primary keywords, I set the trigger, which is that field, to operate or to go, to run, fire, whatever word you want to use, when it's equal to keyword research. And when it's equal to keyword research, we want to run this script. And here's the script. I'm going to do, so the script, we've added that. Here's what the code looks like. It's a simple bit of code. You can see it here. I actually included it in the n8n workflow right here. So this bit of code, this small script, is what we're looking at right here. Okay, and I got this 6 months ago from someone else on YouTube, originally to trigger make work automation, but this works for n8n and it works, so I use it all the time. It's pretty simple. So what it's doing is just sending, it's triggering the webhook and n8n. So you copy this code if it's not already there, and then make sure that you have these variables set up. So you need input variables. You need one called record ID, spelled exactly like this. It takes on the value of the Airtable record ID. So honestly, I don't want to click on something else so it doesn't mess it up. There are different options when you click this plus, but you want it to be record ID is the name, Airtable record ID is the value. The next part, also crucially important, is naming the variable n8n webhook URL, and spell it just like this, capital W and then all caps URL, because you can see that is referred to here in the code. So you want to do that. And then this value is the webhook from n8n. So now we can go look at that. And this is where you get that. Let me bring this out just a little. So the very first thing is our trigger. This is a n8n webhook node. If I click on it, you can see here is the webhook. So you copy it and put it back into Airtable. Note, and be careful with this, this is the test URL. If you take this workflow into production so that it could just be running and triggered anytime you trigger it in Airtable, the URL will change and you'll need to go change it in Airtable. So again, click on that node, copy your, because this will 100% be different and your workflow won't work unless you do this, copy it and paste it into the script in Airtable. Okay, so pasting it right there. And then it's a good idea to test it. I know mine works, I'm not going to test it, but when it tests, it'll come back and say it worked. If it doesn't work, then it's not going to work. So you'll need to figure out what you need to do to get it to work after. There's probably a typo or something like that. And you can change these names. They're not hard, not set in stone or anything. But just make sure if you change n8n webhook URL to something else that you change it here as well, and here and everywhere it's mentioned. I think it might be easier if you just use my naming, but if you don't like it, you can use your own. Okay, so we're back to our workflow. So we've set up the Airtable webhook using this script. We made sure that we have these variables set up as well, and as I mentioned, you should test it in n8n. And so now how you use this is, as I mentioned, in Airtable, in the primary keywords table, you have a primary keyword. The trigger will be there automatically. You have to have a location, the language, the limit, and the depth. I'm in the US. I put US English, 100 results, the depth, which I'll try to explain in just a moment. This is my default stuff. I feel like that gives me pretty good results. If you're in a different country, you'll have to find how you need to type this in, and if you need a different language, you know, if it's French or something, I believe you would just put French there. But the data for Webflow, the data for SEO documentation will tell you that stuff. So you have this, that's your trigger. So when I was said here, enter the keyword you'd like to research, put in the location, language, limit, and depth. And then, as I already mentioned, if you're just in the testing mode, you test it. It'll wait for the trigger. If you are in production, you need to change your webhook URL. So I think I went over that. So now we're moving along and we're going to the fields for the API request. So these are the fields that are used throughout. We're taking the primary keyword that came from that table. In our case, it was primary keyword here is AI agent. We have a field for that. We have a field for the location, a field for the language, limit, and depth. So these are all the bits of information that were in the Airtable table, and they've now been set and will be used throughout the workflow, throughout each one of these different sections. So now So now let's look further into probably just one of these sort of sections and look at how that part's working. So this is the HTTP request to DataForSEO, and the way you do that is you include these URLs. So this is the URL for what DataForSEO calls Google Related Keywords Live, and where you get that is here. DataForSEO has a whole set of documents for their APIs, which is nice, of course. And what you'll do here, and what this whole workflow is basically built on, is their DataForSEO Labs API and the Google part of it. So I have right now clicked on Overview, and what it's telling us here is what kind of stuff you can get from it. So you can get keywords for sites. So if you have a site, you want to know what keywords you're ranking for, I think is the way this works, or at least that are identified as being relevant to your site, you can put that in. But what we're using is related keywords, keyword suggestions, keyword ideas, search intent, and a couple other things, and I'll get to those in a moment. But let's click here on related keywords, and now you can see here is the URL, and it's the one I just mentioned. So it's the DataForSEO v3 Labs Google Related Keywords Live, and I'll go back here and show you that's what I've put there. So what this means is it's calling that API and going to pull the data back. That's what I've already talked about. You need your DataForSEO credential, and then the second part of this that's really important is including what you want to know in the request. So in this case, it's the primary keyword, which is AI agent, the location name US, United States, language here is English. All that came from the first query where we set those fields. The limit for the amount of results that we'd like returned, and the depth. And the depth is a little sort of confusing to me, but generally it means, especially for related keywords, is how deep do you want to go into the search results. What I've found, I think there's depth can be 0, 1, 2, or 3, or maybe it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. But a depth of 2 works pretty well, but if you made that 3 or 4, if it's the higher number, you'll get more results. So we're sending all of that via JSON. So we need to have send body selected, body content JSON, and then put it in there. And this is the format that you need to have it. So it's an array. Is that what those are? Array. So it's an array, and then a set of so this is the format you need to put it in. Square brackets, curly brackets, square bracket, and then this format in between, this normal sort of JSON format. And that'll let you get the data that you're looking for. Now note, where am I? Here. These are the fields that you are sending from n8n to DataForSEO. So all of these fields can be sent, and so you could dig into this some more if you wanted to expand or reduce. You can add filters. So if you wanted keyword volume greater than 0, you can add these filters to reduce or to, I guess, focus the results that you're getting. And so if we continue on, that was this related keywords. Then we're taking our results, splitting them out. So we had one long bit of results return. We're going to split it out into the 52 items, set those fields so that they can be written to Airtable. And again, it's always going to this related keywords master table. So you can see here that all 52 results were written to it. So if I went back to my Airtable, and it reminds me that I want to show you one other thing, and I look for, here's my type, here's keywords related, there will be 52 of these. And something you can do in Airtable that will be helpful in looking at all of this stuff is you can group things. So if you group by type, that will make this stuff easier to look at. So we had 10 autocomplete items, here's all 10 of them. We had 100 keyword ideas, here's all 100 of them grouped together. We had 52, as I just said, of related keywords. They're all there together, and then the keyword suggestions. So grouping is definitely a nice little feature of Airtable. Okay, and I'll leave the rest of it for you to explore, but in general they all work the same. We're requesting the data, splitting them out so that we can put them into fields and put them into Airtable. And you can explore the Airtable, or explore the DataForSEO documentation to set filters, to set parameters that are more applicable for what you're doing. And I think that covers everything. So let me just take a look. I have my little cheat sheet here. Yeah, it does. So okay. So I hope this has been helpful. I know that it was sort of a pain that I did the switch there to Airtable and didn't tell you how I did it. Quite a few people were able to create it on their own, but I've wanted to do the video here to give you the, my version of it. So I have that there. There will be a link to it in the description and the pinned comments. I will also be including links to everything else that's relevant, including the community. I sincerely and genuinely hope you guys consider checking it out. You get a free 3-day trial. I think it's going to be great. We've already had a couple of calls, just informal, hey, how you doing? And just a 30-minute call went for like an hour and 15 minutes just because it was just so much stuff that was of interest to everybody on the call. So hopefully we'll see you there. Thanks for watching. I hope this has been helpful, and if it's something you like, again, please subscribe and like and comment and all of that stuff. And I look forward to seeing you in future videos. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.